Alright, what's up, my guys and geeks? I'm a little bit behind on this, but the DCU has been taking shape as James Gunn has been announcing all kinds of castings and giving us a much better idea of what this DCU is gonna look like. So let's take a look at it. Alright, if you go on to enjoy this video and want to see more updates about the DCU, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you can see the next time I upload a banger of a video. And make sure you comment down below what you think of these castings and how excited you are for the DCU.
And here we go.
So the first bit of news to get out the way is that James Gunn has cast his Superman and Lois. We've got Superman Legacy coming in 2025, and James Gunn has cast David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan to play Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Now, I don't know a lot about either of these actors. I haven't seen them in very many projects, but just based sheerly on looks, they look like the perfect Superman and Lois.
Perfection.
David Corenswet is giving me such Superman vibes just from that one picture that I really believe he'll be able to carry this out. And more so, I'm confident in these castings because I trust James Gunn. If you see my Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 review, then you'll know that he was able to make such an amazing film, and he cast these characters perfectly. Every project I've seen that James Gunn has been in charge of casting, the characters have been cast to perfection. So if James Gunn is the one that has picked these actors for Superman and Lois, then I have no doubt that they will play Superman and Lois exactly the way he wants them to be played. And I have faith that James Gunn will not just make this a cartoonishly over-the-top kind of goofy thing like he did with the Suicide Squad, but he'll rein it in a little bit more and make it so it's a Superman story that feels a little bit more grounded from his usual over-the-top humor while still being a vibrant and enjoyable movie. But really, I'm just excited to see the casting of these characters, and I am very interested to see. It looks like we're getting a Superman who's around in his early 30s, and Lois is going to be somewhere around that age. James Gunn has said that this is going to be not an origin story, but like an early Superman years story, like a year 2 story, which is definitely something I am interested in. I'm excited to see what the DCU has to bring. The only concern I have about it is I feel like the like feeble way the DCEU is going out, kind of like gasping on its last breaths. I feel like that might sour a lot of people on DC projects. But me personally, as a DC fan and a James Gunn fan, I am 100% here for this project and the whole DCU. But that's not all, because while I was still trying to process that and preparing to make a video about that, we got even more casting announcements for Superman Legacy. And it's really crazy just to see how many different characters and how many different superheroes we're going to be getting in this universe. Alright, yeah, that was not the only casting news we got, because shortly after that, it was announced that Isabella Merced, Eddie Gathegi, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the pronunciation there, and Nathan Fillion were all cast for Superman Legacy. And these three actors are going to be playing respectively Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Guy Gardner. Yes! Which is incredibly interesting because Superman Legacy is set to be our first DCU film. We've got a Superman who's only a couple years into his crime-fighting career himself. And not only are we getting him as a character, but we're also getting all these established heroes from very different corners of the DC universe. Like, you don't immediately connect Superman with Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific. I mean, even Guy Gardner, we knew we were getting a Lanterns project, but that was going to focus more on Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and we're getting Guy Gardner cast in Superman Legacy. So James Gunn has said that these aren't going to be like that these roles are not going to take over the entirety of the film. James Gunn's tweet said something to the effect of there's two sides to Superman's life. The Clark Kent side with Lois Lane and Perry White and Jimmy Olsen. And there's also the Superman side where he's interacting with all these other heroes. And James Gunn has said he wants to give equal weight to both of those. So it doesn't sound like these characters are just going to be like a flyby cameos, but it also doesn't sound like it's going to keep this from being a movie about Superman and Lois Lane. But I also find it interesting we got a Guy Gardner cast. Nathan Fillion is not the age of your typical Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is usually like in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. Nathan Fillion is up there, late 40s, early 50s. So there's obviously an age difference there. They could just say he's younger than the actor actually is because he looks younger than he actually is. Or they could just go with Guy Gardner being a much more established Green Lantern. And I'd love to see how that plays with his audacious and obnoxious personality, but I am very interested to see how that goes. And then that's not all, because while I was dealing with the 1-2 punch of Superman and Lois being cast and then all these other heroes being added to the mix, James Gunn made yet another casting. And honestly, just because of my personal liking for the actor, this may very well be the casting I am the most excited about. So yes, James Gunn casts Anthony Carrigan as Metamorpho in Superman Legacy. So Anthony Carrigan is probably he's just one of those actors who whenever you catch a clip of him or a glimpse of him in something, even if you don't like watch the show that he's in, he just brings such personality and such fun that he's like instantly one of your favorite characters. I've only seen like portions of him as Victor Zsasz in Gotham, one of the best characters, who's so funny, so interesting, so quirky, even though he's not a huge part of the series. I think he was in The Flash. I don't remember a ton about that role. I know he's really well known for his role in Barry on Netflix, though I haven't seen that show. But just everything he's in, he brings such pizzazz to that you really enjoy seeing him as a character. So I definitely, and he looks like they don't have to do too much to make him look like a great Metamorpho. He's got the body type, he's got everything that's necessary for him to be an amazing Metamorpho. He spoke in interviews about how Metamorpho is one of the characters that he flagged when he was thinking about comic book characters he might want to play. He saw Metamorpho and he was like, that's a character I'd be interested in playing. So honestly, this is just an amazing casting in my opinion. I am so psyched to get to see him and all these other actors playing these well-established heroes that are a central part of Superman's world even from the beginning. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the DCU unfolds with a more established Batman. No Wonder Woman cast yet. Focus on the Green Lanterns as opposed to the Flash or Aquaman. Superman who's in the beginning of his crime-fighting career, as there are all these established heroes around him just operating and working with him. So I'm just so pumped for James Gunn's DCU. I love all these casting selections. I trust James Gunn. So anybody I haven't seen, I trust that he did the right job casting them. And anybody I have seen, we're in perfect agreement. I agree that that actor is a perfect fit for the role. So I cannot wait to see Superman Legacy. 2025 cannot get here fast enough. Going to be a great year. I'm going to graduate high school and Superman Legacy. So I can't wait. All right, be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you think of these DCU castings. How excited are you to see a Superman with so many established heroes around him? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell so you can see the next time I update you on this unfolding DCU. And if you want to see my reaction to the new Blue Beetle trailer, you can click on this side of the screen. And if you want to find out why Star Wars and Stranger Things are actually in the same universe, be sure to click on this side of the screen. But you only got 3 seconds because the video is about to end. Adios!